Is this how far modern day football tribalism has gone? In 50 years, when Peter Crouch extends the further 6 feet into the clouds, I just know we're gonna have angry Trinidadians talking about how he pulled Brent Sancho's hair at the World Cup.
The man's a cheat, always was, always will be, goodbye. Cheats never prosper. Stop with your Maradona was a legend nonsense. He was a horrible little cheat. You all hated him in 86. Stay with your principles here. Hypocrites. As an Englishman, I won't be mourning his death. Genius or not, he was a cheat, and Argentina wouldn't have won without his antics. Not a legend to me. Cheated, ruined my childhood. But condolences to his family and friends. R.I.P. Maradona, but I can't ever forget.
Ruined your childhood because you lost a World Cup quarter-final when you were 13 years of age. Yeah, try spending every Christmas Eve not waiting for Santa like your schoolmates, but instead hiding behind your uncle's dishwasher. Then we can talk about ruined childhoods, Mark. Lads, it's been 34 years. At the risk of sounding like the anorexic frozen princess who clearly had a weird fetish for castrated snowmen, then
let it go.
And if you're saying, when Tiger Woods dies, are we gonna lead with a photo of him winning the US Open? Or a photo of him in bed with 6 ladies of the night? Are we forgetting Lionel Messi has scored a handball as well against Espanyol in 2007? This was a perfect moment for the English media to put it behind them and show some respect to a footballing god and to just move on. Christ above, if I can forgive my own mother for buying me a box of the Mrs. Brown Boys for Christmas, then you can forgive Maradona for something he did in 1986. But no, instead, the headline greeting the death of another human being is just stirring up another debate about VAR. Listen, as always, when you feel cheated about anything, it's always easy to point the blame. Yes, Maradona shouldn't have used his arm, but maybe, instead of crying about it for 40 years, maybe Peter Shilton should ask himself, why was he being outjumped by a 5'4" hobbit in the first place? Maradona was a great footballer, but he was the height of a postbox. I'm convinced he wouldn't have been able to reach the top shelf in Asda. This guy is smaller than Kevin Hart. He's only 12 inches taller than Tyrion Lannister. I'm sorry, but if you were a goalkeeper who is being outjumped by a footballer who is a single banana taller than the Game of Thrones dwarf, you should probably toss your goalkeeping gloves in a bin. Actually, is it even a jump? His left foot has barely left the ground. He's on his tippy toes. Christ above, this is a World Cup, not a ballet recital. Listen, I understand why Shilton is bitter all these years later. It's not towards the Cunningham Maradona. It's not even towards the referee, who clearly had the spatial awareness of Stevie Wonder. No. Deep down, he's just frustrated with himself because he's a World Cup goalkeeper who's actually outjumped by a guy smaller than Harry Potter. And yes, I know, my relationship with Thierry Henry is about as healthy as the Chasers' relationship when he was invited on to Good Morning Britain to share a glowing tribute, and he mentioned the word cheat about 6 goddamn times. But lads, of all the footballers you could have dragged onto a morning breakfast show to pay tribute to Maradona, why did you pick the most bitter member of that England squad? Cause here's what he said in the past.
December 2013. What bothers me most is that Maradona never apologised. June 2014. England legend Shilton. Maradona lacked remorse after hand of God. May 2018. Not in my lifetime. Shilton will never forgive Maradona. June 2018. Peter Shilton mocks old adversary Diego Maradona after Argentina's lost to Croatia. God was looking down on me this morning, having watched the worst football Argentina has played in the World Cup on the eve before the anniversary of the Hand of God incident. June 2019. Peter Shilton swerves new Maradona film over World Cup Hand of God goal. January 2020. Peter Shilton. Maradona's the greatest player in history, but I don't respect him. Heard that Maradona is due over in June. I'd be interested to know everyone's thought on should I accept an invite to meet. I know how I feel, but what do you think? My biggest debate to date.
I like the dramatics of adding 3 exclamation marks in this tweet. Go all out and be the villain. Embrace it. Maradona is like something out of James Bond. A bad guy hell-bent on world domination. Christ above, he played up to this caricature. This is a guy who probably have chucked his cat in a microwave if it meant getting 3 points on the weekend.
The truth is that I don't for a second regret scoring that goal with my hand.
The British media have spent decades begging this guy to plead for forgiveness. Peter Shilton has been demanding a personal apology, and Maradona instead says this.
I never apologise to anyone. Besides, I don't have to apologise for making a statement to England. For what? To please who? At 47, I think that apologising to the English is stupid.
See, when Conor McGregor does that, proudly refusing to back down, the British media celebrate it and drink it like a bottle of imported Israeli wine. Sentence him to over 20 years in jail. I think you can stand next to a guy who once jumped a little bit higher than you.
Just for clarity, I declined the invitation to go to the Maradona premiere Monday night along with several England ex-players. We were playing darts.
Jeez, well thanks for the update. Not sure I'd have been able to sleep otherwise. For most people, there's about 4 or 5 important dates on the calendar. You know, family birthdays, religious holidays, wedding anniversaries. But for Shilton, I wouldn't be surprised if he spent every June 24th tucked up in bed and crying into a bowl of Weedos. Inviting this guy onto a show to talk about Maradona, it's like inviting Anton Ferdinand to make a speech at John Terry's wedding. What did you think he was gonna say? Shilton was briefly trending #1 on Twitter this morning, but not the first time Maradona has leapt over him. VS Boas is a strange cat. He's come out with this golden nugget that number 10 shirt should now be retired.
Maradona, yes, it is tough news. I would like FIFA to retire the number 10 shirt in all competitions for all teams.
So I guess that means Lionel Messi will have to find a new number. I am immensely respect the legend of Maradona, but I can only assume AVP just spent last night drinking vodka out of a Digimon lunchbox. Yes, he means well, but Christ above, this is so over the top. Because what sort of precedent does this set? When Boris Johnson one day ascends into the clouds, do we all suddenly start combing our hair with a knife and fork in tribute? When Adele one day passes away, does everyone suddenly stop writing whiny love songs about their ex? Because if so, Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift are probably gonna have to start selling couches at IKEA.